Do you know someone or know of somebody whose depression has led them to suicide? My name is Maria Marin, and today I will be speaking to you about the importance of screening yourself or a loved one for depression. You do not have to be a doctor or a healthcare provider to be able to screen yourself or a loved one for depression. You just need to know the risk factors, some of the signs and symptoms, and knowing where to access the right resources to get help. I feel like I was once very ignorant when it came to mental health disorders like depression. I remember I used to say, how can someone be sad or depressed if they have their family near them, they're healthy, they have a job, they have their kids, they have a home, they have food, all the quote-unquote necessities. Until I lost my cousin to suicide. It's going to be 2 years now. At the time, I still had a lot of questions. I said, he has his kids. How can he cause so much pain to his loved ones around him? Which brings me to my meme. The meme that I shared says, when you suffer from depression and somebody tells you to just cheer up, and then he says, my goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that? So, the way I was expressing myself about depression was more so, like, how can you be sad? Not as, like, if you have an illness like diabetes or a cardiovascular disease, you don't choose to have it. So that, in my opinion, that's what depression is like. And I was questioning it or taking it as, how can you be sad? But you can't just cheer up and pick yourself up. I feel like that's when reality set in for me. I was like, I thought you just, it's like you dig yourself into a hole and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper until you can't dig yourself out anymore. And unfortunately, that's when it leads to suicide. So depression may come out of left field, where you don't even know when exactly it started, or of course why it even happened in the first place. So according to the American Academy of Family Physicians, some of the risk factors, so some of the factors that may predispose you to developing depression are maybe a job change or a job loss, becoming a widow, having low self-esteem, having a lot of stress, being a female also can predispose you to develop depression. So I think that if you know someone who has had just a big change in their life, checking up on them, and if you're going through a change yourself, reaching out for that help. Another way that to deal with the change in your life is, if you know that change is coming, like let's say you got, maybe diagnosed with a new illness and you're going to be on a new medication, maybe take the time to just read up on the medication, learn more about it. If you're dealing with a lot of stress, maybe add a walk into your daily routine, just having a routine that you can follow every day to reduce any of the stress that you may be dealing with. So depression may come on gradually. It's, maybe you won't notice it from one day to another, like I said. And so it may manifest or show itself with symptoms that we wouldn't associate with depression. It wouldn't be your typical crying and laying down and being sad all day. It can manifest in other symptoms. So it is important to know those symptoms and, if needed, investigate them further. So some of those symptoms, according to the American Academy of Family Physicians, some non-specific symptoms include abdominal pain, back pain, neck pain, weakness, fatigue, insomnia, joint pain. So if these things happen and you notice them just being persistent, happening all the time, I think that they would be worth a doctor's visit. And if you notice a loved one having, complaining of these symptoms often, all you could do is offer a suggestion and like, hey, maybe go get checked out, because again, you can't make them do anything, but just offer a suggestion. So like I said, depression can lead to a complication, the main one being suicide. Once you have identified that you are dealing with depression, it is important to know where you can access help. According to the CDC, suicide is the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34 years old in the United States. This can be prevented by, again, accessing the right resources. So an amazing resource that we have here is the Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is a number where you can call that somebody is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that you could talk to and just give you the help that you need. It is free and it is confidential. And if you don't feel like talking, to a stranger or on the phone, they also have a crisis text line where you can, again, contact somebody at any time, any day, and you will be connected with a crisis counselor that will guide you in the right direction. And so now that you have learned all about depression, let's go over what we talked about. It is very important to take depression seriously, as it can lead to complications, and the big one being suicide. To be able to screen yourself or a loved one for depression, you need to know the risk factors, the signs and symptoms, and how to access the right resources. Knowing all these things can help save your life as well as a loved one's life. Thank you.